Oh, it feels so good to be back. Hello and welcome to episode number 31 of the Grove podcast. Oh, I just got a shiver down my spine saying that. I've missed you all. I've missed you all so much, and I've missed our football team so much as well. My name is Moz. I'm your host. I hope you've not forgotten about that. And I hope you've not forgotten about my superb co-host who has a sore groin today, but he's here. He's here. And Tabs, a very big welcome back. How are you? And how was your summer?
Yeah, definitely. Really pleased to be back. Looking forward to starting these back up again. We had a good couple of pods over the summer talking to fellow Gooners. So go back and have a listen to those because they're really good with the likes of North Banksy, Arsenal Cannon Picks, and She War. Summer's unfortunately been a bit boring, just work. I'm afraid the family will be having fun, but I've been busy working. And as for my groin, well, I'm training for Chicago Marathon in October, and I did a 30k on Sunday, and I'm 51. So there's maybe someone's telling me to slow down, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Tabs, I must admit you're looking still in very fine shape, and I would never have guessed you were 50. Well, I could, but I won't be rude on this podcast.
It's my jokes and my sense of humour.
It's your dad jokes, definitely. Yeah, I can only think what Gianluca thinks sometimes when you crack one of those at home. We're also joined today by none other than Cern. I've missed you a lot, Cern. You know, it's quite kind of a shame that we're not going to see each other either for another few months.
A little while.
Passing ships in the night, as they say. But good to have you on. How are you, and how was your summer?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Just watching the Euros is just not the same, is it? I mean, I've really missed watching the Arsenal, watching some of those 0-0s and 1-1 games from England. Just weren't cutting it, were they? So just happy to be back in the season. To be honest with you, I was so happy that the Prem's back from next weekend.
Yeah, as you know, the Euros were brilliant because England won the same amount of trophies during the summer than Scotland, and you were all, "Oh, England are going to win it. It's coming home." I mean, no, come on. So it was really nice to see that Scotland and England are pretty much, on par with each other. And of course, we had the Olympics as well, and that was quite good seeing Thierry Henry back in management and did pretty well with the France team. So, and then suddenly I woke up one morning and I got a calendar notification on my phone and it said Arsenal game today. And I was like, what? Already? And it was such a nice feeling because I knew we were slowly but surely coming back and the league was starting, and then now fantasy football's back, and that's when you know shit's got real, right? Because you're picking your fantasy team and you're looking at whether you're picking Saka or Salah or Haaland or whoever, and it's getting real now. So the league is starting very, very soon. In this episode, we're going to talk about, obviously, the pre-season friendlies, transfers. Smith Rowe, still a dagger to my heart. We'll then go into part 2, talking about the team and how we play. And I think Tabs has a lot of stats and analysis. I'm going to give some flowers to some players based on pre-season, and also maybe some, shall we say, Moz comments on some other players. So I expect the social media to be hating on me this time tomorrow. And then
that's got nothing to do with your opinions. That's just general personality, isn't it?
God, it's only taken us, how long has it been? 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and Tabs is at it again. If you want Tabs off the podcast, guys, I know I've had loads of messages about it over the summer. I can make that happen, don't worry. We'll also do some predictions about where we'll finish in the Champions League, the League, the FA Cup, League Cup. We'll do a little player of the season, top goal scorer, that kind of thing. And then we'll talk about the game on Saturday against Wolves. So first game of the season, we'll have a look at what we think the starting lineup will be and look at Wolves and how we think they'll play and go from there. And then, of course, at the end, we'll do our usual predictions. And I'm going to this season, guys, form a league table. Because we're doing a full season, obviously, of the Grove podcast, I'll do a league table of all the guests that come on and all the predictions they make and see who actually is the best predictor of the Grove. So watch out very soon for that on all social medias. And speaking of social media, before we start, the Grove AFC, we have Twitter, we have TikTok, we have Instagram. It's not hard to find us, the Grove Podcast. There's only one, and it's the best one. And obviously, as you've all heard Tabs mentioned before, the North Banksy, the She War, and of course the Arse Cannon Pick specials. Loved having those guys on the podcast over summer. It was really, really good. Really, really good to hear from some of the more famous people, rub shoulders with the likes of Tabs. It was quite nice. So anyway, without further ado, guys, let's get straight into it. Pre-season friendlies. So, Cern, I'm going to come to you first. What do you think? What's your thoughts? Did you stay up like me late until about 3 o'clock in the morning watching these games?
Yeah.
Or
Do you know what? I didn't, but only because I was in Turkey on holiday, and it was 2 hours further ahead. So I was just, and I was on a family holiday. I just, I wouldn't have gone down well if I'm sitting there watching it. But I caught all the highlights, and I was at the Emirates Cup yesterday. Yesterday? Yes, yesterday. I think we're looking pretty strong. I think, in some areas we're a bit rusty. I felt sometimes it's hard to see if we're misfiring yet, purely because we're giving so much airtime to some of the younger players. But that's great. I think players like Heaven, Ethan Wanari is really coming into it. I think they're actually going to, be really useful this season, particularly when we've got so many fixtures. So yeah, it's been exciting. I would actually quite like in future years for us to, probably not going to happen, for us to consider doing a pre-season tour outside the US again. When we used to do Austria, that there was times where we considered going on trips out there, catching Henri, doing all sorts of stuff in I think Vienna. It's like Vienna. He scored that amazing pre-season goal and Senderos set him up. That'll be my only takeaway from it all. But yeah, it's been fun to watch. Better than the Euro. But
yeah, I mean, just on that topic, it's interesting that we go to America because, well, it's not interesting, I guess. It's good. You see the amount of fans there, and I was watching that Guess the Gooner that they do. It's quite fun with Frimmy and Sharky, and they do this thing where they have 4 Arsenal fans and 1 fake Arsenal fan, and it was quite nice hearing everyone's story about how they started to support Arsenal, and in a way I resonated with them a little bit because I don't live in London. I live quite far away as well, and it's quite nice for your team to be in the same country that you live, and I do get that. But I think gone are the days now. The money is there's so much money to be made, isn't there, by doing a pre-season tour of the States, and I think a lot of teams do it. Certainly Chelsea, Liverpool, everyone else, Man U, they all did it. So it's one of those things where I don't think it will stop, at least until the World Cup is over in the States. So that's my take on that.
I would suggest it's more to do with Stan Kroenke and the US and the American owners, and
potentially. But then, what reason have Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man U? I guess that's because of the fans as well.
Yeah, Liverpool is American owned, isn't it? Yeah.
And,
Man U. It's money. Then at the end of the day, they pay the bigger bucks to get the teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, Man U, and all that over. So.
Yeah,
but I quite like it.
The one thing, Tabs, before I come to you on your kind of analysis of the pre-season, the one thing I would say, just based on it, I watched all the games except from yesterday against Lyon, or at the time of recording, it'll be Sunday, against Lyon, at the time of release. I was playing football, and what I noticed was a stark difference between the form that we had at the Emirates and the form that we had in the States, and we looked so good, so good, and obviously that's because players are coming back like Saka and Rice, but we just looked like, we're ready for the Prem. I just don't know if we are, and this is me just being realistic, so before you guys come at me, I'm just being realistic. I don't know if we're fully going to be ready to hit the ground running for the running that we have. It'll be a very big test for the squad with this running that we have for the first kind of 6, 7, 8 weeks of the season. That'll be a huge test because obviously the likes of Saka and Rice haven't had that much of a rest. So there's talk of potentially Saka maybe missing the first game of the season, not due to injury, but just being rested and eased back in. But Arteta, he'll want to play the best team from game 1 all the way up until game 38 in the league. So that's a tricky one because, look, we do have Villa away, Tottenham away, Man City away in the first 5. And that will, if we can come out of that with minimum, I'd say 12, 13 points, then we are laughing. We are absolutely laughing. So who knows? Tabs, what do you think about pre-season form?
It was sort of in 2 parts, literally. The US tour, that is purely an exercise in training. It's a training exercise. It's fitness. That's all it is. The results don't matter. How you play, okay, you can do a few things, but because of the squad they had, it's just training. It's just a training. It's just lots of running, lots of getting fit, and you're just doing it in front of a big crowd. But what was brilliant was an opportunity for youngsters to get their first taste of first team action, give fringe players a bit of a see what happens, and give them a bit of a taste for that. So that whatever happened there, the Liverpool loss, didn't really care. Man United, whatever. It was nice to see some sharpness and see some training. And then when back in the Emirates looked so much sharper. The first 30 minutes of both games, we were playing as if it was a Premiership game. We were on it for the first 30 minutes of both. The pressing, the hassling, the movement. It was quick. Like Raya was like shouting at the ball boys or whatever, give me the ball. Our players, the usual Odegaard press, Saka press, Havertz, whoever's there. It was quick, and it was for the first 30 minutes of each game. Then you could see sort of like they went back more into a mid block and all the rest of it. So they were taking those games seriously, and I feel look, we look ready. I think we look ready for Wolves. I think we look ready for Wolves. One thing just to sharpen up, and it's a bit of a legacy from last year is creating those bigger chances and taking those opportunities. So yesterday we were creating chances. Yeah, Nelly was a bit of a culprit, but I'm pleased that he was there, getting there. Maybe if it was a Premier League game, he would go full pelt and clear some of these defenders where maybe he was holding back a bit. But no, we look good. Set pieces look good. The players look good. The likes of Jesus is looking sharp. Trossard looked good. Yeah, I'm pretty ready for. Yeah, for Wolves, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, just thinking about Martinelli there, and Andrew, we were listening to this. So Andrew, hello. I know we spoke on the phone earlier today, and you had some very choice words to say about Gabriel Martinelli. What I can say is I'm going to give him 6 weeks of the Premier League season, or in fact, I'll give him 6 starts of the. Because we don't know if he'll start the first 6 games, but I'm going to give him 6 starts. And if he doesn't perform like the way that we expect him to, then serious discussions need to be had. And Andrew's voice note that he has sent to me about a year ago now will get played on this podcast. It's not a bad, well, I say it's not a bad one. He just questions him, and then we can all say, yeah, he was right all along, and Andrew can say, well, I told you so. But that, for me, is the biggest concern at the moment, is Martinelli needs to hit form. There's some, and I know Tabs, I can hear you trying to wriggle your way in and say and defend him. And look, I love Gabriel Martinelli. I think he.
Let's not write him off.
No. I'm not writing him off. But what I will say is, there's tweets that I've seen recently as well where people have also started to mention, this is a huge season for him, huge, because if he doesn't perform, it could be, lights out, and that's it for his career at Arsenal. I think that's our route.
Yeah. I think that's very drastic. I think let's just see. Look, I think the injury Sheffield United was a lot more serious than we expected. Having your foot sliced open and then trying to come back from that, a bit of rustiness. It's pre-season. I'd still want him to be playing. He offers us something that we don't have, the pace. The finishing will come, bit of confidence. One of these ones, he gets one, he'll get a bucket load. So I've got no fears, and he's one of the couple of players that will actually, compared to last year, that were missing a bit. If they come back on their own form, like him and Jesus, yeah. I'm not quite there. I'm not saying lands, but they could be difference makers, and they will be. So So I'm all good with those two.
I'll reserve judgment. I'm just speaking on Andrew's behalf. So Andrew, you're the fall guy for this. Basically, for me blaming Martinelli for everything and anything that happened.
Okay.
So in terms of, we talk about outgoings and potential outgoings or whatever, this is what a way to introduce this next part of the pod. But just let's talk about some transfers. So let's start with the good news story. We signed 2 players so far this summer, and everyone's probably thinking, 2? What? No, we've only signed Calafiori. But no, we signed David Raya as well. Poor guy never got his credit where credit was due. So that was a good start to the summer, obviously making that deal permanent. And what's really telling is obviously Karl Hein has been loaned out, so Ramsdale is in effect the only other keeper we really have, and he never got 1 minute. And he never played yesterday against Leon, did he? Ramsdale, he never got subbed on, so Ramsdale, never got 1 minute in pre-season. So it's really, my thought is, what the hell's going on? What's Arteta's plans for Ramsdale? Surely you would give him at least a half. And why
would you scupper being ready for Wolves just to appease?
Because the same reason you would play Heaven and Waneri and Lewis Skelly and all these players in pre-season in America, because it's essentially, as you say, it's an opportunity for the young and fringe players to play. And it was really interesting that Ramsdale wasn't, it was interesting that Hein was the one that played as opposed to Raya and Ramsdale, sorry.
But Ramsdale didn't come back. He was part of the England group. They didn't come back. So he came back at the same time as Saka and Rice.
Yeah, but he never played a game. So, surely...
Yeah, but his first 2 friendlies available were Leverkusen and Lyon, and he was never going to play. It was always going to be right, come back into it, right. We need you to be sharp for the first.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me thinking, does Aaron Ramsdale need more of a holiday when he played no minutes for England? And
Raya only played 1 game as well for Spain. It's just the fact that you're in and around a training camp, you're in and around a team, etc. During the Euros, you need the holiday. No, you got to respect that, whether you're playing the games or not. It's still, you need a holiday. His time in the Euros was not a holiday, as much as he didn't play. So you still need that 3 weeks. But it can be argued either way. That's the life of the life of a second, the number 2, is that you have to be ready to play having had no minutes, and that's just the way it works. But imagine that's throughout the whole season. Yeah, so it's the life. And his plans, we know we want to sell him. He's gonna go. He's no longer number 1. So. We've got 2-3 weeks left of the window. Things can happen.
We won't sell him. We don't have anyone else to replace him with. We won't sell him. We can't.
No. You obviously, if you're going to sell him, then you have to have, we have to do, Arteta's favourite purchase is a goalkeeper, so or a left back. So I'm sure. Again, a lot is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I'll be surprised. We may not sell him, but I'll be surprised. He'll go on loan somewhere, I'd imagine.
Maybe loan obligation to buy. Yeah, also looking at him maybe.
Yeah. And then obviously Ricky Calafiori, who came in. I mean, there was a bit of a hoo-ha in the WhatsApp group, shall we say, when I said, I wasn't even shitting on him. I just said, look, I don't really know who this guy is. I've not really watched him play for his club before. And then suddenly all of you lot started jumping down my throat, saying, oh, this guy's the best thing since sliced bread, and he's going to win us the Premier League and all this nonsense. And I thought, right, okay, so let me calm down here and watch some YouTube.
He's Maldini and Baresi rolled into one, so he's just going to be the best defender ever. So that's
yeah, of course you would defend him being Italian as well, but no, look, I think he's a good signing. I really like the kind of person he seems. I've watched a few clips of him around different various media things Arsenal do, and I quite like him as a person. He seems quite outgoing and fun, and another leader almost in the team. I mean, he recorded that Guess the Gunner thing apparently less than 24 hours after he joined, and he knew more about Arsenal than Theo Walcott did, which was quite funny. So that was interesting. But what really endeared him to the fans was obviously his announcement video, and he was in the tunnel. I think he was probably going through the Arsenal tube station at the time, and all the Arsenal fans are singing the songs, and he's there as well. And that was quite nice. That probably won him a few brownie points amongst the fans. And Cern, do you want to do your rendition of the song again? Just that. Go on. Come on, first episode of the season.
Just for context, so I think we've all heard that Calafiori song where it's like when he plays at the back, he'll stop your attack. That's Calafiore. But yesterday at the Emirates, there was another song I'd not heard before. It was, oh my God, it's going to be terrible. Oh, Calafiore. And to be honest, I didn't like it, but I think it's going to catch on because it's so simple.
What?
I think...
But a Santi Cazorla tune.
Well, Cern, thank you for the rendition. Tabs, your internet cut out. I don't know what you said. I'm sure.
Oh no, is it to the tune of the Oh Santi Cazorla?
Oh right,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Cern, thank you for the rendition. I don't think that'll catch on. Surely not. We have too many sporting events that use that, like the boxing. That tune. It's just that everyone uses it, and we need to think of other ones.
I wasn't a fan. I didn't see it. Apart from then.
I can't wait till the DJ plays That's Amore at the end of a game.
Exactly.
Oh, that's going to be class.
Yeah. So obviously a very good signing for us. Good to have him part of the team. And then we talk about outgoings, and this is where I get a bit sad. Sasha will be listening very intently to this part because he's asked me to do a farewell ESR part for the program, and it's due pretty soon actually, so I need to get that done. But it's a tough one to take because, and bear with me on this one, right? But I think at some stage in the last 15 years, we've all really experienced the highs, and maybe 20 years, we've all experienced the big highs and lows of being an Arsenal fan, right? You guys can all agree with that. 2006, we had the Champions League final, and then obviously around the last couple of years of Wenger leaving, we had probably some of the worst times of supporting Arsenal and losing to Chelsea in the Europa League final, all that kind of nonsense, right? But there's been one thing, there's always been a constant, and it's been Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, the Hale End boys, the two mates. And during the Amazon Prime documentary year, it was really nice to see them and dreaming about scoring against Spurs, and they go out and do that, and they just feel like one of our own, and they are, right? And then to obviously see the rumours and then see Smith-Rowe actually leaving was quite heartbreaking to see. And then watching the Fulham video when he's getting his medical, and Alex Iwobi and I can't remember who else came up to him. It was Iwobi and
Leno.
Yeah. And it was it was so heartbreaking to see because he looked happy but also looked sad, and he would be because obviously he's been at the club for so long, and he said about being a one club man, and these things you don't want to say lightly, so it was a tough transfer out. It hit me almost like the same as what Fabregas and Henry almost did, that kind of level of like quite gutted, but more so gutted that it never worked for him, rather than this is a 25 goal a season player, like for example what Van Persie was essentially for us. It wasn't like that. It was more just a shame that it never worked out. I don't know about you guys, but I was gutted. But I do wish him all the best. I know he listens to the pod during his time at Arsenal. He was always blasting it in his car on the way out the parking under the Emirates. So we will listen.
Guy, I've got an opinion about it, guy.
Yeah, I'm a bit sad that he's going, but equally, it's nice for us to have people that are true Arsenal fans. A bit like it won't be at clubs like Fulham. Maybe when Fulham plays City, they'll actually won't be playing with their kites or whatever, and they'll actually put a shift in and take some points off City this year. So I'm quite happy about that, and I wish him the best. I quite like Fulham when they're not taking points off us. So I wish him the best. He's close to home anyway, so I'm sure he'll get a good reception when he comes back.
Yeah. But I mean, he needed to leave. He needed to go and get minutes. He needed to play. He's too good of a player not to be playing, and stuff like that. So again, I think everyone wishes him the best, want him to do well. Good for him. I wasn't that fussed, to be honest. Maybe it's my short-term memory isn't so good as it used to be, but I don't think it was ever Teta's man. I don't think he ever really convinced. I mean, look, he came in and yes, between him and Saka, he helped us revive the season, which was going pretty poorly, and there was it started to bring back the vibes. But as a purely from a footballing perspective, I don't think he ever knew what his position was. Was he sort of came in on the wing, was battling with Martinelli, and then he sort of comes inside. Yeah, so I just don't ever think he was Teta's guy, especially because of his off-the-ball work as well, which we all know Arteta's really, really, really big on. So I'd sort of resigned myself to this a long time ago, and it was more a case of, right, we need to ship him out to get some money to get someone else in. So I didn't feel that pang of, her. It was more like, oh, good for him and good luck to him, as opposed to us losing anyone, because I just don't think it was ever really gonna work out. I think it was right time, right place for a short time, but then just I think we grew past what he offered, and look, if you compare how Saka's evolved and where he's gone versus, yes, I know he's had injuries and stuff like that. So yeah, it's. Yeah, I'm not brilliant with empathy sometimes, but I wasn't feeling it as much as everyone. Well, you listen to all these ones, I'm like, oh, everyone's like virtually in tears about it. I was like, nah, okay, good, yeah, expect it to happen, move on. So it's not a case of me not liking the fellow from a purely footballing perspective. It was right for everyone.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, I agree with you that it was right. I just maybe it was the countless TikTok videos that I've seen, with the sad songs in the background, like "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth and Smith Rowe and Saka, and Smith Rowe was in black and white and Saka was in colour, and it was like, oh God, I was in an emotional wreck. I don't know what got over me. It was like, do you know what? It was probably that I miss you guys so much, and I had emotion to outpour. I had a way of sharing my emotions. I had to do it over TikToks of Emile Smith Rowe moving to Fulham.
But I really hope. Sorry, just on that. I really hope that not every time he does something good. Oh, why didn't we keep him? Why didn't we keep it? No, it's not. It's not an equivalent. He's gone. He's found his level. He'll do well there. He'll fit in the team there. Just because he does well there doesn't necessarily mean, if he'd stayed, he would have done well with us, because he wouldn't have got the minutes. So, but you're going to see it. You're going to see it all the time. Oh, why didn't we keep him? Because he scored 2 goals in pre-season and it's already started, and it's like
more goals than Havertz in pre-season, by the way. You'd be selling on commercial. I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding. I knew you would bite.
Maybe the camera was on.
Oh God, that was funny. Look, two goals in pre-season. He's slotted right into my fantasy football team. Maybe that's on kind of emotions as well, I guess. You never know. He I agree with you, Tabs. Let him go and do his thing. If he scores 20 goals in a season, it's the Fulham system. It's not that he left Arsenal and could have done it here. It's just he suits Fulham. So yeah, good luck to Smith Rowe. And I'll echo the comment. He was just never Arteta's man. The other thing that you've wrote down in the notes, Tabs, interestingly enough, was obviously Eddie to Marseille, but it looks to be dead in the water now, doesn't it?
God, those notes have lasted all of 2 hours, haven't they? It looks that way. It looks like they're going for, was it Wahi from some Rennes, I think?
Yeah.
So it looks like that's dead in the water. And then, I don't know, then there's a tweet later on, Bournemouth seriously considering it, but I think that's maybe just people bring, Bournemouth have got cash, they need a forward, Eddie's available. Look, I don't, but we cannot go into the season with him in the squad, and not because of his quality and all the rest. Again, like Smith Rowe, like recently, he's just not at our level anymore. And right, fine, as a third, fourth striker, yes, brilliant, but it's more what he takes up. So you lose his wages, you get some money for him, you can use that towards getting someone who's going to offer more. You're not replacing like a like. You're going to use that money to get someone twice as expensive or twice as good. I think it would be a big mistake if we went into the season with him still in the team purely because of what we lose as a result, not because he only scores 5 goals in a season and never scores away from home and doesn't do the dog like everyone else. So there we go.
Yeah, I was going to be fair, I kind of stopped myself from speaking there. I was going to say, but do we just keep him if we can't find a replacement or find anyone else to sign? But no, everyone knows my thoughts on Eddie. I liked him in the start of the season. Then Jeff from Arsenal Glasgow, do you all remember Jeff? He showed me the light. And yeah, him and Reece Nelson are 2 players that really need to go for their own sake.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus has been, this kind of brings us on to part 2, I guess, a wee bit. Gabriel Jesus has been really, really good in pre-season, and Eddie will not have a sniff. It's either Havertz or or Jesus,
or even Trossard.
And Eddie and Reece will not get a sniff. I think I would rather have them away and let players like Lewis Skelly or Ethan one I can never say his name. Ethan.
Yeah. You don't pronounce the first Ben.
I know. Ethan Waneri as well. You know, kind of. I would rather see them play and score the same amount of goals that Eddie Nketiah has, for example. Yeah, and just give them a chance and see what happens. You never know. You know, we might have the next young thing under our belts, and we're stagnating their growth because of the likes of Eddie and Reece. And I kind of watched the highlights of some of the pre-season games back as well today, and just watching Reece, it was kind of frustrating because it's just the same shit, different day from him. So pretty lackluster. But yeah, let's move.
They're good players. They're Premiership players. They just need to find their level. They need to just go and play. I mean, yeah, they're 24, 25. Just go and play. You know, the career of a footballer is not long. You don't want to be stuck in the reserves. Okay, pointing in, but come on, be better. And I like them, but we're raising the we raised the ceiling last year. We're raising the floor this year, and they're just unfortunately shouldn't really be part of it.
No, okay. The one thing I would say, coming on to very nicely to part 2, is the Jesus Haaland debate, if we like. And guys, I need this answer purely from a fantasy football point of view, and I need you to tell me the truth. Who the hell is going to be Arteta's starting striker come Saturday?
Does it matter?
Yes, for my fantasy team.
Oh, fantasy perspective. I would go Havertz every time.
Havertz all day.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you guys were going to really throw it, left field and say, "Oh yeah, I think Eddie might start," and just making it.
Yeah. I would go Havertz because even if he doesn't start striker, and I don't think he will, he'll be playing at 8. Havertz will play no matter what happens.
Yeah, but the problem you have, and I know we're talking about fantasy Premier League here, but your problem you have is if Havertz is playing at the 8, he's not going to have the same amount of goals and assists. I don't think he will, and so then he's a very overpriced forward. But anyway, look, that's a story for a different day. I don't want to give you guys my team away, especially when
I've got him. I've got him in my fantasy.
Yeah, I've seen your team tabs. Thanks very much for sharing it with us. So anyway, no, I just wanted to obviously, we've kind of echoed the comments that you wrote down about being a very, very good team. What do we need to do? So here's a question for you guys, right? In fact, there's 2 questions. The first one is, sir, and I'll come to you first. What do we need to do differently this season than we didn't do last season to win the Premier League? And don't say, and I know Tabs, I know your answer, Tabs. Beat Fulham, beat West Ham.
No, that's not my answer.
I know what my answer is. Okay, so sir, you can go first.
I think actually, do you know what? What you just said there is kind of key to my answer. So I think it's more to do with not being found out. So when you look at the teams that we struggled against last year, so we had Fulham, we had West Ham, with Newcastle away. A lot of the time, our sort of one dimension, always down the right hand side. Occasionally we played slightly different. A lot of teams could find us out and play low block against us. What I think we really need to work on is our depth. So rotation, preferably. Yeah. So we sign another player maybe, but if not rotation, get those fringe players some minutes so they can actually make a difference when they are needed. And also we need to work on our left hand side. So Martinelli's key to that. Trossard's obviously great, but I think we could probably be doing more there. I've been so impressed with attacking wise. I haven't seen much of him defensive wise. Zinchenko, that left hand side, being able to whip balls in. I don't see that happening from Ben White, but we've got that overlapping play with Saka, Ben White on the right hand side. If we can do more of that, taking advantage of our aerial advantage of most teams. That's if things aren't going well and we can just whip the ball into the box, great. I'm happy. We'll play like Sam Allardyce all day long. I have no issue with that. I think it's that we need to be a bit more unpredictable and give the rest of the squad some minutes that comes with it, and then maybe we'll stay in. Aside from Premier League, we'll be able to take things further with League Cup, FA Cup, and I'd really love to see us do more in the FA Cup and the League Cup for that matter. and it would give those French players an opportunity to get those minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Good take on that. Actually, didn't expect the whole Zinchenko thoughts, which was
Yeah, you like that. You like that, don't you, Oz?
or as yeah. I'm not even going to say it. Actually, I'm going to get dragged down into this. Tabs. What's it going to take for us to win the Premier League or do something that we didn't do last season?
But it takes City doing one, but. Look, it's a really tough position we're in because we are still a very, very good team. We're spectacularly good, and we were just small margins last year from actually taking the top prize. But to call that out in terms of and not about we should have beaten Fulham, should have beaten Villa, but there is an element of that to it. I think there was 5 games last year where we drew a blank. Scoring in terms of scoring goals, I think there was, the West Ham at home, City away, and I think there was a couple of others, and that can make a difference, and so it's about we need to be able to create. We're really good at pressing, and so we get the ball back high up very quickly, but then we've got to convert that into top high quality goal scoring chances. So it's not about scoring the goals because we were and most top teams do. We're outperforming XG, so we can finish, and we've got the efficiencies. Or even people think we're inefficient. We're not. But what we don't do is create enough of those really big scoring opportunities that we can take advantage of. We sort of fall in between somewhere. So again, you look at those games where we missed out on scoring in 5 games that could have made the difference. Even one of them, it would have made the difference, and that's fine. So for me, to go from where we are, which is an extraordinarily good team, to just to that next level, right? You need a lot of luck. You need the injuries. Maybe you need some other teams to fall off. Things need to fall your way, but I think it's just creating more high quality scoring opportunities, and then taking those more goals, more wins, more points. It's ours.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And the next question I have for you guys, sir, and I'll start with you again. This is, I know it's not the season's not even started yet, but look, it was a question that was posed on Twitter, and it got a really big discussion. And I wanted to ask you guys it as well. If Arsenal finish second in the Premier League, and please just let me ask you this, okay, Tabs? Let me ask you this. I know your answer, but let me ask you.
Right.
If Arsenal finish second in the Premier League and don't win, or let's just say if Arsenal repeat the same performance as last season, is that a success or a failure? 1 word answer, CERN.
1
word answer.
Maybe.
Okay. Tabs, 1 word answer.
Context.
There's no context about it. It's if we finish second in the league and if we get...
All right. Imagine our first 11 all injure themselves, and so we're reliant on the youth team, and we become second. I think that's an incredible success. So context is everything.
Okay. Well,
okay. Put like this: if Man City get 114 points and we finish second, is that failure? Well, there's not a lot you can do. They've won every game, or whatever the. But so context is game. I'm not going to be so binary, and I know everyone's going to be, and I think we come up to it later. It's the expectation. This is going to be a really tough season for expectations, because everyone's like, well, everyone's ramping up. Arteta even said it himself. Don't be satisfied, but you mentioned it earlier. We've got a very tricky start to the season. Those first 5 games, they said, got Villa away, Tottenham away, but we could be on 6 points after 5 games, and that is not far-fetched. That is just the arbitrariness of football. That could happen, and everyone's going to lose their shit. But in isolation, losing to Tottenham away, losing to Villa away, losing to City away. Now, I'm not going to say that's I'd be happy with that, and I'll write it off because you have to put the context around those games. But yeah, context is key, and everyone's expectations is through the roof, and we need to manage that. But imagine as soon as, because we saw what it takes. As soon as you drop a point, it can make such a difference. And so everyone's going to be so tense. And every time something happens, we drop a point, the crowd's going to get tense. That's going to fall into the players. So I really would love people just to, I'm preempting, just chill the fuck out. Just let's see how it pans out, because it's a long season, lots can happen. So we just got to, but those are the fine margins, and we know the fine margins now. Again, last year was just another iteration of the year before, and we were still enjoying it, but you could start still.
Give me a break. Enjoying it is different to actually wanting to win. And look,
no, but you wanting to, of course I want to win. I'm not here to want to win. But your reaction to that, and there's the equation, which is, happiness is reality versus expectations.
Right. I didn't realize we had Albert Einstein on the podcast as well tonight, but I forgot to introduce him at the start. But I can't wait to have Whale on the pod when we've lost. In Tabs' opinion, when we've lost to Villa, Spurs and City, and we were on 6 points, and that's not a bad position to really be in, because it could happen in isolation if you give it the context. But anyway, what I wanted to say just on that question is, I know I only asked for one word, and CERN gave about 3, I think, kind of maybe, and Tabs gave about 300. But I'll give a wee bit in the middle. My opinion is, honestly, and I kind of said this towards the end of last season, is that if we don't win anything this season, and if Man City finish on, as Tab said, 114 points, but we finish on 108 points, and we've lost to them but won every other game in the season, that is still a failure to me. It doesn't matter, because we need to beat the teams like Man City in order to win the league. However, having said that, I think it would be a failure if we got knocked out, or shall I say, we got fucked out the cups, basically, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup last season. And if that happens again this season, and we don't make it for far further, I would say far in the Champions League, we don't know what the draw is going to look like or anything like that, obviously, so that's a huge bearing on it. But we need to win something this season regardless. Arteta needs to have a trophy season, because there will be many Arsenal fans all over. There'll be Arsenal fans that are like Tabs, who are level-headed and have witnessed it all. Tabs is, I'm not saying it, Tabs, you already gave your age, you're in your 50s, so you've seen it all. You've probably seen us lift European trophies I've never heard of, right? That we always refer back to on social media.
I was not there at the Fairs Cup, all right? Give me a break.
It's just those trophies that people refer to when we're getting, slandered on Twitter. But Stern and I, maybe kind of similar age, and, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this, but I think if we do not win a trophy,
you want to see us lift some silverware? No, I get it. Yeah. I've had the Premiership. I've been in the North Bank Upper, where I thought it was going to break, and it was bouncy up and down that structure when we won the league. So no, I get it. Again, consistency is key. Last year we got knocked out by Liverpool in the FA Cup. We were actually played really well. It's Liverpool. Shit can happen like that in the third round. You can get knocked out and whatever. And also, again, to what extent? I would rather still go to the Champions League semi-final than win the Carabao Cup. Yeah, I wouldn't. But we're going to relitigate these arguments throughout the year, and we'll have Whale on and you on and everyone, and we all know where we stand on these things. It is all down to what you want out of it.
I'm going to put just before we go into predictions for the season, I'm putting my cards on the table here, and I'm giving you my honest opinion. I love Mikel Arteta to the point where I would probably cry if I ever met him in person, even though he's ex-Rangers, right? You all know my feelings on that. However, if Arteta doesn't win a trophy this season, I will be one of the first people to call for us to find new management or do something drastically different.
You would think they'd be able to do a better job. I know, managers. Let's not go down this route, right? No, fine.
No, but my opinion is, if Arteta doesn't win, I think a lot of people will agree. People will not want to be as outspoken as I am at the best of times about their opinions, but I know for a fact half of the Grove will also feel the same, and I know for a fact half of the Arsenal Scotland, for example, will feel the same, and I know for a fact half of Twitter will feel the same. If we don't win anything again this season, then what are we doing? We need to win something, whether it's the FA Cup or the Premier League. But
we're trying.
We're trying, yeah. But the good news is, I actually think we're going to win the Premier League. So it's fine. It's fine. So Arteta, your job's safe, mate. You're fine. You're all good. Anyway, moving on before I get absolutely brutally annihilated on social media, I need to quickly move on. We kind of, I know we've got a lot to say about the current squad and about, set piece FC and whatnot, but in the interest of time, I just want to very quickly do our predictions. I think it's really interesting just to break up the pod a wee bit. So we've said about obviously our tricky start to the season, so please factor this in, CERN, when you'd give yours, that we're going to lose 3 away games that we play against Villa, Spurs and City in the first 5. But
I didn't say it was going to happen. I said there's a realm, there's a lie, there's a dimension that is not far-fetched to think that could happen.
But the listeners, you need to context. Okay, listen back to the last 45 minutes and you'll get the context of what I just said. So if someone just skipped to 45 minutes, then they'll know exactly why. But what
we could easily be on 15 points.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to come to you, Tabs, first, and then I'm going to come to CERN. I don't want... I'm laying the ground rules here. I don't want explanations. I just need one word kind of answers to these questions, all right? So the first one is, where will Arsenal finish, Tabs?
You really want my honest answer? Second.
Okay. CERN?
First.
Tabs, are you okay to populate these for me, actually, if you can? I can't seem to edit.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it as we speak. I'm typing up as we speak.
Yeah, and so CERN is first, and I'm also first. Obviously, this is in the Premier League. Tabs, Champions League.
Semis.
CERN?
Semis as well.
Okay. Quarterfinals.
Okay.
FA Cup, Tabs?
Who gives a shit?
We need to put
quarters.
CERN?
No, we're going to win it. Double.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I have a feeling we're winning the double. I have a feeling we're winning the FA Cup and the Premier League. Look at me being all positive as well. And then League Cup, where I think we're going to be playing a very second, third string team with the likes of, Reece Nelson, if he's still around, or we'll get a run around, or Eddie Nketiah. But I think we'll make it to the quarterfinals of the League Cup.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at you're going quarterfinals.
I'm quarters as well for League Cup.
Oh, go on. I'm going to say we're gonna get to the final and lose in the final.
Wow. Okay.
But if you look, no. No, I think we'll do semis. But I mean, if you just look, I don't even want to get to the semis, quarters. I don't know, because I was just looking at the fixtures. If you look at the Carabao Cup semi-final.
Yeah, the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg is the week of the FA Cup.
Week after Man City. That's the second leg. So you got the first leg. When's the first leg?
The first leg's before the FA Cup third round. Always.
Then you got Tottenham at home, Villa at home. You got Champions League match day 7, Wolves away, match day 8, Man City at home, and then you got the Carabao Cup second leg, and then the FA Cup fourth round.
And then prestigious competitions, you need to be in the thick of it. And the Carabao Cup,
but it's nuts, isn't it? If we were that successful, it's just nuts, isn't it? And then if we don't make it into the Champions League, we have to go through the playoffs, and that's next. It's like, that would be a crazy time. So I don't know. That's one I would sack off straight away.
Well, yeah, we'll play a second string, third string team in that, and we absolutely need to not get into that playoff for the Champions League, because the playoff first leg is right after the FA Cup fourth round, which is on the weekend, and then the Champions League midweek. Then we're at Leicester away. Then we've got the next Champions League playoff. Then we play West Ham. It's just, it's a busy time of the year. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We're not even at Christmas. We're not even at the first international freaking break yet, and you're talking about the Carabao Cup final.
But it just goes to show there's a couple of tricky periods: the start of the season and then the beginning of the year. Either side of that, we're okay. And then our running, if we're still in it, we've got a half decent running as well. So but yeah, we could have get through those bits. Okay, what about the individual awards?
Yeah. Just before we get onto that, sorry, I just wanted to say once we've played again. So you mentioned the running. Yeah, I was having a look at our fixtures on an individual basis, and once obviously we've played Villa, Tottenham, and City away, and then we have 3 games against Leicester, Southampton, and Bournemouth. Leicester, Southampton at the Emirates, Bournemouth away, but then we play another 3 really tricky games. Pardon me. Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Chelsea away. Those aren't easy ties. But then after that, it's literally just piss easy. A couple of games against Man U and Tottenham. But from when we play Chelsea away on the 11th game week, all the way down to the end of the season, we only play City and Liverpool, and that's it. And I think we could potentially genuinely go on like a 25 game winning run. Yeah, honestly, really do think we can. So it's an exciting time to be a Gooner. And the next prediction, Cern, I'll go to you first. Player of the season.
Odegaard for me.
Okay, Tabs.
I think Havertz.
Okay, I was also going to say Kai Havertz. I think he will be, our magic in that number 9 or number 8 or wherever he is. He's 8 till he's 9 kind of vibe. Top goal scorer, Cern.
It's gonna be Saka because he's on penalties.
Tabs.
Havertz.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit kind of left-ish again here. I'm gonna say Odegaard. I have a funny feeling he's going to just, after his end of season talk, I think from the midfield, I think it'll be one of those seasons like 2 years ago when, we share the goals, but Odegaard will come out on top. Most improved, I'll go first for this if you guys want, if you don't mind. Yeah. Most improved, I think I will have to give it to, and no, not Martinelli. Andrew, I know you're listening still, and it's not going to be Martinelli. I think most improved, I'll probably give it to Zinchenko. I think...
You change?
Yeah, well, I still don't like him, but I think just the way we're playing now, I think he will be most improved in terms of what we've got, because the ceiling's pretty high anyway, isn't it? And obviously like Tommy's injured and whatnot, so there's not really anyone else I could think of. Tabs, who do you think?
I think J9 is going to come back. He's looking pre-season, looking strong. He should be fit. He's had a pre-season behind him, so... he's buzzing around. I think he's just going to be a bit of a Tasmanian devil up front, and I think he's going to make a difference.
What about you, Cern?
I was going to say Zinchenko as well, so I was really surprised when you said it. But yeah, I think Zinchenko.
Yeah, I just have a funny feeling he's got a huge role to play, and I have a funny feeling that potentially Zinchenko will have one of those moments this season where it's like a crucial game, and he's the difference. Good or bad, I don't know. Bloody hell, that's worried me a little bit.
No, in terms of Zinchenko, I think last year he went too far in the midfielder defender role, and he was doing too much in midfield, forgetting defensive duties, trying too much, trying to be, and I think the balance wasn't quite right, and it seems to be he's brought it in a bit, and he's sort of like dialed it down a bit, so he still offers a lot. I mean, against Bayern. Bayern Leverkusen, it was great and stuff like that. So I think he's realised maybe he went too far one way, and I don't think he's going to be relying on him, because when Calafiori's up to speed, we got him, Tomiyasu if he ever gets fit. So as a third choice left back, he's pretty third or fourth choice left back is pretty good to have. So I quite like that pick as well.
Okay. Finally, could do better or expected more. Mine's Martinelli, by the way. Just putting it out there.
You think he's going to have another bummer of a season? Well, okay, another bummer of the last 8 weeks of the season. Because up until then, he was fine.
Yeah.
Son?
For me, it's going to be make or break Thomas Partey.
Okay.
Wow, okay. Nice.
And I was going to go Vieira. They're similar, make or break. I like the... Well, it was really telling that in the US or at all in pre-season, he didn't get a central mid. He didn't get a role at 8 or 10. It was always Waneri or whoever, Odegaard or whoever. He was always in the Saka, backup role, and that's really, so it's interesting to see. So yeah, I think it's make or break for him as well. What's he going to offer? And now he's got another injury. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just one of those ones. I think he had a lot of potential. Just sometimes it just doesn't happen for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Well, Tab has written those down. So, what we'll do, Cern, is in the halfway point of the season, we'll be sure to have you on for that episode as well. Obviously, you'll be on many more in the next few weeks, but we'll get you back on the halfway point, and we'll just see how we're all doing with our predictions and if we can change them or not. If I can quickly slip Tabs a $5 to edit the Google Drive document. Let's go on to Wolves preview and do our old what are you looking forward to and not looking forward to in the upcoming fixture. And I'll go first. Again, if you guys don't mind, I just want to say I'm gutted I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in a sunny bar, no doubt, in Madrid this weekend, watching the game, cheering the boys on. I'll need to make sure I check if there's any Arsenal, if anyone knows about any Arsenal kind of pubs or bars in Madrid, then please feel free to let me know. So there's that. I'm kind of going to miss the Horatia, miss seeing everyone and all the banter that comes, especially with an August Premier League game when the sun's shining. But what I'm looking forward to is just the season's here, loads of optimism. We're starting, on a clean slate. Every single player starts on a clean slate. The manager starts on a clean slate. And this is our chance for us to do something really, really special. And if you cast your guys' minds back to this time last year, when it was Gabriel that was dropped for the first 3 games because of rumours with Saudi, and Partey played a right back. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
How anxious that was. But now it's like all the players that are at Arsenal actually want to be at Arsenal. There's no one that is wanting out. There's no one that's heads being turned, because Arsenal Football Club is the place to be. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Just this is the club that everyone wants to be at. There was rumours that Mbappe was in tears when he found it was Real Madrid and not Arsenal, so it's that kind of level of team now, which is amazing. So that's mine. Cern, what's yours? And where are you going to be for the game? Because I know you're not going to, are you? So
yeah, no.
Where are you going to watch it?
No, this weekend I'm just going to be chilling with the family. I'm banking some of that accrued annual leave, from my home life, saving it. I'll probably be back. I think Leicester is going to be my first game back. By the looks of things, a little while yet. What I'm looking forward to is in terms of the actual game. I'm looking forward to our set plays, and also the fact that their star centre back for Wolves is no longer there. He's moved on now. So I'm looking forward to our set plays, and I think we ironed out some of the kinks at the weekend. I don't know if you saw the highlights. Rice took up maybe 3 or 4 corners that didn't quite work out, and then suddenly it clicked and we scored the next 2. So I'm looking forward to our set play, and I'm looking forward to Zinchenko getting a couple of assists as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Zinchenko getting assists. I'm just writing this down for my notes for fantasy football when I do my team later on tonight. Zinchenko assists. Oh, phone's just come up saying error 404. Zinchenko does not provide assists. Okay, Tabs, what are you looking forward to and not looking forward to in the upcoming game?
In terms of not looking forward to, absolutely nothing. I couldn't think of anything I wasn't looking forward to, so that there's nothing there. But in terms of looking forward to, I'm lucky enough or privileged enough or whatever to have a season ticket this year for the first time in a long time. So I'm looking forward to seeing what my new seat is like, and if you as of course as meeting up with the Grove beforehand and a few drinks and catching up with everyone over the summer and all that. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to taking my new seat for the season and seeing what that's going to be like. So I'm most really going to get in there early just to soak that out and just to be back and just to be back at the ground. In terms of the football, yeah, I've got no fears, got no worries. Well, we should win easy. That's no problem.
Oh yeah, because we're playing at home, so it's only the 3 away games in the first 5 that we lose, isn't it? So yeah, you're fine with that. That's cool. I'm expecting a bigger bite than that, but I was only winding you up.
I said just trying to prepare people, trying to get everyone ready before they lose that shit.
Tabs, the one thing I would say is, so I hate to break this to you live on a podcast, but CERN actually found out what seat you were in conjunction with Normie, who's still on 297 on the season ticket waiting list. He found out what seat you were, and they booked it for the preseason game against Leon, and they went and they farted on your seat. So when you go and kiss it for good luck, and that smell, it's Normie and CERN combined.
It will smell of alpacas and llamas, won't it?
Oh god. Yeah. No. So tell the listeners, where is your seat? What block? What row?
Oh, I can't remember.
You can't remember? What? I still remember mine. 1, 2, 5, 23, 9, 4, 6. It's ingrained in my head.
Where's my digipass?
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old. You can't remember what block and seat.
Yeah, I'm in area 109. I'm in area 109, row 8. Apparently that's really good because it's the exit row. So I don't get caught up with going up and down the stairs.
Nice.
So yeah, up a tier, right, sort of on the corner. So I've got the best of both worlds. I'll have Zinchenko down my flank and Saka. Zinchenko in the first half and Saka in the second half.
Nice. And you're okay with, obviously, listeners, if they're listening in and they're in 109 or whatever and they see you, you're okay with them saying hi to you, aren't you?
As always. I doubt it very much, but always.
Good. Yeah, it's going to be, what a feeling, honestly, it was for me walking up to my season ticket seat, and I took the obligatory Instagram photo for it, and it was good. Nice memories. I'll see you, obviously, Tabs, for the Brighton game at the end of the month. And CERN, I don't know when I'll see you, but I don't think I'm going to be down until potentially the end of October again. The good news is work is kind of, I don't want to say too much, but work is, good at the moment. So potentially might be down in head office, which is in London, funnily enough, a little bit more often. So get to see you guys more. So maybe that's what I'm looking forward to, actually. Just very quickly, want to touch on Wolves, their pre-season form. So they beat West Ham 3-1, and then they lost to Crystal Palace. They lost 3-1 to Crystal Palace. Then they beat Leipzig 3-0, and then lost to Rayo Vallecano. Obviously, since then, they have lost Pedro Neto, who signed for Chelsea, who have enough players now to field 5 full teams. Like 5 teams without subs. That is crazy. Right? Is that not crazy to you guys? What are they, the clown car of a club? And everyone thinks they're going to, all these BBC pundits and all these Sky Sports pundits think Chelsea are finishing 3rd and 4th. And like, are you crazy? No chance. So that to me is wild. Really, really wild. Yeah, it's an absolute
but Forest aren't in good. I mean, they said they lost Neto, they lost Kilman. I think
you mean Will, not Forest. You said Forest.
Right.
Wrong season.
And plus, wrong season. So, and then Podence is injured, Cunha is injured, Kalajic, I didn't even know he wasn't uninjured. He's always injured. Then they don't seem to be in good shape. I mean, they're a mid-table team. They shouldn't go out. Well, they shouldn't get relegated. They're not going to cause much trouble. They can play good football. Gary O'Neill, I like him, but I can't see it. I can't see them threatening us too much. It's down to how we do, and it's down to what we do. A bit like Forest last year, comfortable 2-0 at half time. We slack off and they get a goal and it gets a bit nervy. I don't think that. I think those sort of things, those days are going to be gone. I don't think that will happen.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't think we have anything to worry about, and it's really interesting. I didn't realise that Max Kilman also left Wolves this summer, and he went to West Ham. That's quite a good signing. I look at all these transfers now, and I don't think about it in any other way than Fantasy Premier League. So I don't know about you guys, but it's interesting. CERN, I'm going to start with you. What do you think your prediction will be for the game this Saturday?
Let's go with 3-0. I think that would do.
Yeah, nice. Tabs, what do you think?
I was writing 3-0 as Cern was saying 3-0.
Okay. I'm going out there. I'm starting the season positive. I feel like I've been a little bit negative in the pod today, a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe a little bit more realistic, shall we say, or correct. Hopefully not. But in terms of the trophies, anyway. But I'm going to go for 5-0. I think we're going to start the season off like one of those really strong performances. 5-0.
Get the goal difference up early.
Yeah. And then Man City seem to still somehow catch up to it by the end of the season, like they always do. But no, I think it'll be a good game. Wolves finished kind of bottom half of the table, 14th last season, 46 points. You know, it was quite tight, to be fair, mid table. What is really, really interesting for me though is how we will actually set up. So, you know, will Calafiori play? Will Zinchenko play? You know, will Havertz and Jesus both play at the same time? You know, Partey or Jorginho? It's all these questions that we had at the start of last season. It's just the same as this season again. And obviously there was Julian Timber who's injured. You know, is he going to be fit again to play? And you know, there's so many exciting things happening. I'm looking really forward to it, guys. There's not long to go, and like I say, I'll be in Madrid when we're playing. So it's 38 degrees on Saturday when I'm there. It's going to be bloody brilliant. I can't wait.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. But what you just said there is the beauty of where we're going to be next season. Is that the options and the different ways we can play, and we can play heavy on the right, or if Saka doesn't play, then we can play heavy on the left. You know, Havertz, I liked him at 8, and Jesus at 9, and with Trossard, they were all just floating around. And if you're a defender, who do I mark? Where is everyone? Now that can have its own downfalls in terms of not having a target man, but you know, and also I think Rice or Partey, Jorginho, I think this is great. I think and we've got to get used to this. And, you know, our first 11 will be very different each time. It'll be horses for courses. It'll be depending on context of the season, what games are coming up. And I think we've got to get used to our favourite players not always starting and not always playing. And I think it's for the greater good. And I think this is. Yeah, I'm looking back, and I'm also looking forward to how we're going to shape up, how we're going to change, and then how do we change up games?
Yeah.
How do we make a difference when things aren't going so well? We've got so many options, and teams aren't going to know before the game how they're going to set up. Because we can play in multiple different ways. And if we get someone like Marino in and another winger, even better.
Well, Marino may happen because Zubimendi is not. He's rejected Liverpool this evening, which is very, very good news. And on that note, I am going to reject you boys and get to my bed and edit this episode because it's getting late. I've had so much fun though with you guys. Honestly, it's been so good to be back, and it's funny because, you know, we're back for a new season, and there's still no escaping the software issues we had at the start, the IT issues. So I really thank you guys, patience for it all, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Just for the listeners who have stayed to the very end, please. Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you have to do. Pass this pod to anyone and everyone you can. Really appreciate all the messages I had on Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, everything from people even phoning me saying, where is this bloody podcast? We're missing it. We're missing you annihilating Tabs' silly opinions on a weekly basis. So we're back. We're here. We're going to do weekly episodes, even twice a week. However, the next one, obviously we play Wolves on Saturday. Just to warn you everyone, the next episode will not be out until either Wednesday or Thursday the following week due to me being away and travelling, and Tabs is too old to know how to edit podcasts. So from me, it's a goodbye. Tabs, Cern, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and yeah, the Grove over and out.
Cheerio.
See you later.